the biggest thing I think in your finances, if you're approaching 50, if you are within 5 years of being 50, I need you to think about how you can pay a mortgage off. Like, don't think about expanding the house. Don't go bigger. Don't, at this point, it is not about that. It is about what will it take to pay the house off? Even if that is 10 years away, thinking about how you can pay the house off is, to me, the biggest advantage, because if this person is worried about, concerned, fretful about their retirement prospects because of the money that they have saved, you can offset that whole conversation by having no mortgage. Welcome. This is For Better and Worth,
the podcast where we don't believe you have to sacrifice your relationship while you grow and build your net worth.
We are your hosts.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Ericka Young, and we're so glad you're joining us today.
All right, y'all, let's get into it. Hey, babe, how you doing?
I'm good. Just ate a little something, so I'm feeling ready,
That's it's kind of an important thing because, I remember when we first started dating.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
And we were out somewhere, or maybe we were either first dating or it's when we were early married.
We were dating because we were in Michigan.
And you said you were hungry, and I was like, okay, it's cool. We'll grab something to eat. And you were like, no, must eat now.
Is that what I said?
I was like, whoa, who is that?
Is that how I said it?
That's what I heard.
Okay, well, there you go.
Must eat now. No go further.
You know what? I don't have time for you.
Me must have food, sustenance.
Now, I love food. So
I learned that out pretty quick. I learned that pretty quickly.
I don't miss many meals.
But you look great.
Thanks, babe. I just be trying to eat because I like food. So if we out, I need you to think about how long it has been since a sister has eaten.
Right.
And back
I know I got the opposite problem. I'll miss meals, and I know I don't need to miss meals. I need to get my protein, and so I guess we're on the opposite ends.
We are, because I don't play these games with you.
Yeah, and you always talking about like, well, why ain't you eat? And I was like, well, I was doing, or
yeah.
But
anyway,
these extra pounds still hang on. Like, missing meals is not the ticket. So that's advice we gonna say.
Yeah,
get all your macros in. But that's a whole different podcast, a whole different discussion.
But we are talking, but it does resonate with the topic because age is a factor in what we're talking about today. And like, we need to take care of ourselves, our body, but we also need to take care of our money, and that's what we're here for.
Financially.
And so, I heard someone say recently that they did not want to look at their retirement account because it was depressing. And to be clear, we're talking about folks in their 40s and 50s.
Yes.
Right in that, late 40s to early 50s. And
the sandwich generation.
Yeah,
generation still taking care of kids or young adults and taking care of aging parents.
Mm-hmm.
But we're starting to shift our thoughts and start thinking about, well, wait a minute. I got to make preparation for myself for retirement. We're still a ways off, but it's an interesting kind of spot to be in.
And I think it's important, even if you're not in that phase yet, to hear what is important in the phase that you're about to enter. And also, if you are past, let's just say you're 55 or you're 60 and you're listening and you hear what we're going to be talking about today, like maybe it'll help shift your focus for what you need to be focusing on. So I think everybody can get something out of it today.
I think it's an interesting kind of topic just because if we've got the 30-somethings that are listening or watching on YouTube, I think this is a perfect conversation to hear now and understand so you can begin to make planning and preparation. And I talk to so many people at work or out and about, and I'm a unlicensed, that's what I got, an unlicensed, unofficial financial guru or
Use his advice at your own risk. He will not be taking on any of the responsibility of your actions. Okay, disclaimer told.
But it's just so funny. So many people come and ask me questions, like even at work or friends or people I know ask me questions always about, what they should be doing. And you know me, I have a lot of opinions about what people should and shouldn't be doing. And if you consider like the current administration and the tariffs are on, the tariffs are off, the tariffs are back on, the tariffs are increased, the tariffs are decreased.
Yeah.
It's like schizophrenic tariff time right now, but
it's a roller coaster, up and down, up and down. All
and the
over
market seems to go down, go up, stay level, go down, go back up, be in the positive. And I think people, when the tariffs were first announced and the market took a significant dive, people were like, oh my God, my retirement, my 401k, my IRAs, they're all down. And people took the approach like, ignorance is bliss almost, because people didn't want to log into their accounts and see what was going on because they would become sad or depressed. And I don't know. I don't think that's the way you can approach it.
I think it's easy to be emotional about your money. I mean, we work hard for our money, so we want to see it at least remain where it is, like what we deposited into the account, or go up from there. We don't want to see it go down. We don't want to see that we're losing money. That's no fun. But if you're in the long game, a person who's in the 40s and 50s still has a little bit of time, at least 10 years, if not more, of bandwidth in the market before they actually would be pulling anything out of the market to live on, because they're not retired yet. So, like, the coolest thing about this age group is that you're smart enough, you're probably making decent money, and you have a little bit of time prior to making any major shifts in how you invest. And so it's a great time. It's just that we get nervous because we actually obviously are closer than we ever have been to retirement,
I think the crazier thing though is that when you start to consider people within that age range, 40s and 50s, that 1 in 3 people is not, or they don't feel like they're adequately prepared for retirement. And I hear these, stats and statistics all the time about, what would put you in the top income earners, or how much money you need to have at what ages to sufficiently retire. And, people never think it's enough. But, we talk about how strategies have to shift and change as you get closer to retirement. And if you're someone listening in your 30s, it's like you have to start planning now on how you move and how you navigate, because I think a personal thing that we were just talking about this morning about Roth IRAs and how, the benefit and the beauty in them is that they are tax free, but
they grow tax free.
Right.
Because it's after tax.
It's after tax dollars that is deposited, but the gains on those after tax dollars grow tax free. And so we even thought about how we started Roths, but they were at a point where we were still navigating, like getting out of debt and, raising a family
and earning more income.
Yeah, increasing our income. And so it wasn't a lot of time between when we were, okay, this is a good time for us to start it, and we had the income to invest it, to we reached a point where, okay, now we have earned the income and we can invest because we've exceeded the contribution limitation or the income limitation. So it's a catch-22 in some ways for us, and we've navigated it. But I mean, boy, I wish that everybody would just take that advice, start a Roth IRA as soon as possible. And I must repeat it. Start a Roth IRA as soon as possible, because people are equipped and with understanding around. I get a job with a corporate employer. I have a 401k. I contribute to that. I think people understand and know that, but it's that Roth, that growth that is tax free, and it's your 401k where that growth is tax deferred, that actually helps to offset the overall taxes that you pay once you start to withdraw.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just, man, I just can't say it enough to people. Roth IRA, make sure you get one.
Yeah. So when that person mentioned that she didn't want to look at her 401k and it made her nervous about her retirement, etc. One, I'm not a financial advisor, and two, the advice I would give her upon reflection, which is why we're talking about this today, is that it's not just your retirement that you need to be thinking about. Like one of
Yes.
the big things that I tell people now is think about how you can pay off your mortgage when you are the biggest thing I think in your finances. If you're approaching 50, if you are within 5 years of being 50, I need you to think about how you can pay a mortgage off. Like, don't think about expanding the house. Don't go bigger. Don't, at this point, it is not about that. It is about what will it take to pay the house off? Even if that is 10 years away, thinking about how you can pay the house off is, to me, the biggest advantage, because if this person is worried about, concerned, fretful about their retirement prospects because of the money that they have saved,
Mm-hmm.
you can offset that whole conversation by having no mortgage. I don't care how big it is. Typically, your mortgage is the biggest debt that you have, the biggest payment on, every single month. And I'm also assuming that all
There's
your
no
other
other
debt,
debt.
there's no
Yeah.
other debt, right? So this is
Yeah.
a big deal here is if you are 45, if you are 50, reassess your finances and ensure you can become completely debt free by retirement. And that is the house included. And that when you are in that space, and so for these folks, it would be looking at how much in payments you currently have on debt of any kind.
Yeah.
And then you don't even have to earn that or have that in any retirement accounts. You don't have to service that debt in retirement because you've paid it off by
That's what I
then.
was that's what I was gonna say. I think there's a critical piece of it that we have to call out is that as you're as part of your planning process, you got to fast forward and think about what type of income do you need in retirement.
Right.
And when you consider not your income today, but income in retirement, what does that need to look like? Then you start to factor out or break out, okay, what is that covering? Is it covering a mortgage? Is it covering, clothing, shelter, transportation, utility bills? Figure out what it's covering, because then, going to the point that you made, if you're planning in retirement to still have a mortgage, that's the biggest portion of your budget. So if you're planning today, you say, okay, well, we get the house paid off. All we're doing is paying living expenses. And maybe you still have, some sort of savings, emergency. You definitely have savings and emergency fund on the side, or even, other funds if you want to replace a car or things like that. But it's like you've really got to start planning. And I think when we think about our retirement, we've already factored that. Okay, we'll have zero debt, no mortgage, none of that. And people are always like, well, don't you want the interest, deduction? It's like if you look at the standard deduction, the interest isn't that great. Even at the height of our mortgage, it wasn't like that. It's beneficial.
It is. So here's the thing. Like right now, we are essentially within a year of paying our house off. So for 1 year, it's going to be the interest that we can take as a deduction is less than $2,000
Yeah, so
for the year.
it's like no
Compare
big.
that to the standard deduction. Even if you're not taking
Yep.
it, even if you have more deductions than the standard deductions, good for you, great. But it is such a wide gap between
Yes.
2000 and the standard deduction that why am I keeping a mortgage just to be able to get
Right.
$2,000 of a
A
credit?
$2,000 a month mortgage. You send the mortgage company $24K to write off $2K.
Yeah.
I'd rather just pay the $4,000 in taxes or whatever it would be.
It's not even gonna be that much.
I'm just saying, if it was, I'd rather pay the $4,000 in taxes and keep the 20 grand.
And so that's controversial with financial advisors. Financial
Right.
advisors think they will say mortgage debt and student loan debt is cheap debt.
Right. Or it's
And
good debt.
right. And my thing is it is still debt.
Right. Because as
And
long as you are obligated to make those payments, that pressure that comes with those payments is still there.
that's right.
And I think a few episodes ago we talked about I saw a news story about an 80-year-old man who
Yeah.
was working at Walmart still as a greeter and they still had a mortgage. I was like, man, that is so sad. So I won't be working at Walmart when I'm 80.
Praise the Lord.
Okay. Bless God.
That is not what we trying to do.
No
And
way.
this is why we do this podcast, is because we want to help other people have a game plan. So if you think this is not for you right now because you're not in that age group, think again.
I just think about how not looking at your investments, that in and of itself is, that's not the best strategy. And I understand why people don't want to do it because they will see the losses that they've incurred and they're like, man, this makes me so mad, so angry, especially if you don't agree with the policies that are being put in place that are ultimately creating this ripple effect. But I always have to go back to the fact, and I have to tell myself this, that when the market is down, everything is on sale. So continue to stay the course because I want to make sure I'm continuing to invest into my retirement or other investment vehicles because now everything is on sale. And because everything is on sale, that means I can buy more. And then when the market recoups and goes up, if I have more shares in a mutual fund, that is going to equate to more revenue, more income per share. And over the course of time, highs and lows balance out. And that's why dollar cost averaging is so, fabulous because in bad times and in good times, overall, your investments will, balance themselves out over the course of time. So you can almost kind of say, okay, how much time do I have until retirement? And just know that you can rebound and recap
I'm one of
or
those people.
recoup.
I'm one of those people though. I don't look at our numbers as much as you do. Not
Yeah.
with detail.
Yeah.
So I have places where I see all of our assets and our net worth and I I see it without attaching it to what's happening in the world and
Right.
without really looking at details of how much it went up and down. You see much more of that. So I'm not going to say I
True.
bury my head in the sand. I definitely don't do that. However,
But you don't ignore it.
I don't ignore it. And the biggest part of this is I don't allow it to change my decisions or my strategy on what it is I'm up to. And one of the other things that we've been talking about, like I think this is important for this phase, the 40s and 50s, is to be thinking about how you can maximize the, retirement vehicles that you have. And that's the Roth IRA as well, but a backdoor Roth if you can't get through the front door. So the back door is when you can convert traditional IRA dollars to a Roth IRA. And it means that in the year that you do that, you have to pay taxes on whatever amount that is. And so I think that's a great strategy because, again, the reason why it's important, why you are so serious about this Roth IRA is because, frankly, it grows tax free. And so you want to see that means more of your money will grow. That's what that means. And then the other thing that I actually think that we have to change this is everybody knows you turned 50 already, so we're maxing out. You have a catch up for your 401k. We're doing that as well. But the thing that we need to do probably is not touch our health savings account.
Yeah.
Because that can
That's
grow.
actually smart.
That can grow and grow and grow. And then if you never use your health savings account until age 65,
You can use that as income.
it can be your retirement dollars and it's not taxed. And you don't have to use it on health at that point. At 65, you don't have to use it on things for your health.
That could be another good strategy
it's a huge strategy. So when you add up the abilities that you have to enhance your retirement prospects, there are many. And this is why, and I was saying this to you earlier, like wealthy people, they have multiple houses, they have businesses, They are looking for tax shelters.
Yep.
So,
Multiple write-offs.
right. So they're looking for ways to circumvent taxes. And so,
And they have at people they get strategy and advice from.
now tell it, okay? Because before we got on here, you were saying some good stuff about having,
Right.
you know, the advice you need.
Yes, because people will be in fads and they'll be buying stocks. And like I always ask people, well, what made you buy that stock? Or, what was it that you became an individual stock purchaser? When I don't know all of the story about what they're doing financially, but that seems like it can be a piece of it, but it may not need to be the biggest base of it. And if you're doing those things, you should be definitely working with other professionals that can help give you guidance in these other areas, because even if you're converting, traditional IRA over to, a Roth IRA, it's it's small bites at a time,
Yeah.
because there's limits on how much you can do. So your income will increase and you'll pay taxes on it, but it's a little bit at a time, and maybe you do it every year. And that's probably what we'll start to do, is shift some of the investment from traditional IRAs to the Roth. That's the back door. Or I even may have a backdoor Roth I could do on my 401k. We could consider that. But there's options. But that's when you go and you talk to investment professionals. And if the first one you talk to doesn't explain it in a way that you understand it and you get it, then go find somebody else. Like,
Right.
phone a friend, call somebody who can help you understand what you need to do before you go and do it and make the decision. And I would say don't make a move until you're 100% clear on what it is, how you do it, how it will benefit you, or it could turn around and hurt you. Because unfortunately, in some of the investment communities, people are motivated by commissions. And
I think that's
I'm
why.
not hating on commissions, because I was in sales for a long time.
But I think that's why people don't trust the financial industry itself, is because they're unsure of their motives.
Yeah.
And that's why I always say talk to more than one person. I say for folks who have a 401k or a 403b at
Talk
work,
to the administrators.
yeah,
of
talk
that.
to them first.
Yeah.
Like, go there first, because frankly, they don't have a personal interest in your money. They're trying to help the company at large, and
They want to maintain the company as a customer.
Yeah, they're maintaining like a bigger picture relationship.
Look, let's be honest. Nothing in life is free.
It's not.
Okay, but even like the no-load mutual fund companies, they have small fees that we all pay.
That's the thing. You're paying. You
paying
just don't
something.
know it.
Right.
So if you're doing fee-only financial planning, then you pay up front, and then you do the
Right.
work behind the scenes with no loads, that kind of stuff. But if you have any type of investments, there is money coming out of your
you're
money
paying
to
something.
pay that company. So let's be clear,
Exactly.
it is not free. You're right, it's not free.
Yeah.
But don't worry about that as much. Like, yes, you can look at, the actual fees. You can look at the fee to hold those mutual funds and ensure
Yeah,
it's
I
low.
think we could get into the technical parts of it a lot, but people just need to know that you got to talk to somebody.
Right. But I'm just saying, you can look at what you have and ensure that you're not paying more than what is
Right.
reasonable. But, and again, like, all of these things are things that a competent professional will be able to share with you. And I always say, get more than one person to do it. I knew someone who did, before they talked to me, a very risky investment that was supposed to save them on taxes, and I was heartbroken because they're business owners, and they put this money into this product, and they were like, it's going to save you taxes. And granted, that might have been the case, but it was an investment vehicle that basically they got nothing from. And that, if those kinds of situations can be avoided if you protect yourself by talking to another person prior to saying yes to anything that somebody is quote unquote selling you. And this goes for insurance, it goes for taxes, it goes for your financial investments, all of that kind of advice. Get more than one quote, or have a conversation with more than one person, because there is safety in numbers.
And I think, what we're telling people to do is kind of do some financial priority setting.
Mm-hmm.
So think about retirement, what that's going to look like. You mentioned our health savings account or just healthcare in general is something you have to consider. And estate planning, we haven't even gotten into that, but that's, you have to have that in place. So those are really three major areas. Just thinking about retirement, thinking about healthcare, and the estate plan. And then you can craft your strategies around that. But I think there's so many mistakes that people can make along the way. And what's the biggest mistake that you think people make that's out there?
I think people make the mistake of prioritizing their children so high that they don't prioritize their own retirement, which
Mm,
means that they, at any cost, will pay for higher education, college funding for their kids, at
yes,
the
that's a
expense
good
of
one.
them saving money for themselves, or they're paying for private school education while they're coming up, or they're paying for all of these extracurricular activities. And those things get in the way of them saying yes to the investing that you and I have been talking about this entire
Yes,
time. And so, um, if it has been said a million times, if you don't put on your mask first, you can't help anybody else.
right.
And so we always, quote unquote, put our children first. And the challenge with that is if you do put your kids first in money matters, you better hope that they have an extra bedroom for you in your retirement, because you
Just
haven't set
imagine.
money aside for your own retirement. They're going to need to take care of you.
Just imagine if on the airplane you put your child's mask on first, and then you passed out,
Right.
and the kid
You
is
can't help them.
like, Mom, Dad.
Right. Exactly.
So
Yeah. And so I think that that's the biggest challenge that a lot of folks make. And it's easy to make it, but I feel like we're helping them if we help ourselves first.
yeah, I think when I talk about common mistakes, I think there's a couple things that come to mind. And I've had to think about these things myself. Like one, I'm so far on the other side of not wanting people to take on new debt that I still don't want to see people do that. But people end up taking on new debt, and that can be a big mistake that you make is you get yourself out of debt. And we knew people that we were on the same pathway, and we were all got out of debt. Then a year later, they had went and got back into debt. Like, man, it's like a merry-go-round. Like you got off and then got right back on. So don't do that. But one thing I've had to start to consider is like it's one thing to have enough money to retire, but healthcare and all of that becomes a big portion of it because if you don't plan for it now, I think the estimates are that you can spend $300,000 to $400,000 of retirement funding to pay for healthcare if you haven't properly planned for it.
That's
So
a big deal.
it is, and I started thinking like I want to enjoy life. I want to travel. I want to do all these things. You all know I'm in the YOLO phase of life. But I was like, hold on. I got to start thinking about how am I going to have health care? Like, when can I get Medicare or when can I have whatever it is I'll have as coverage? It's like, I need to know when that kicks in because that matters.
So you saying that is a big deal as well, because we like to believe we're going to be as spry and healthy and mobile in 20 or 30 or 40 years as we are right now. And that
That's
only
that youthful thinking.
it only happens if you take care of your body.
Yes.
So, I'll be very frank and say that this year all I have been doing is figuring out how to take care of my body. Um to a level where I had not before. Meaning all of the doctor's appointments, doing what they say, taking the supplements, going working out, eating the right stuff, like
Yep.
all of the things. And so prevention is just as important
As
as
care.
as saving for the
Yep.
future so that you can take care of yourself then. So like I would rather have that $300,000 that you said that we needed potentially for our retirement years for healthcare, have it and save it, but
Right.
not need it because I have taken care of this body prior to,
Yep.
you know?
We're using that money to take, trips and
Right.
have experiences in life.
Yeah.
But let's get to, I think we got to get to the make it worth it.
Okay. Have at it. So how would you make it worth it, babe?
I guess the obvious thing is don't put your head in the sand and ignore your accounts because of a temporary circumstance like, current legislation. We see how it goes up and down. So don't allow that to get you so off to the left or to the right that, you don't take any sort of action. Be proactive. That's really what I say. And consider those big three things I said. Consider like what's required for retirement, how are you going to manage healthcare, and then your estate plan. And just stay the course. There's going to be highs, there's going to be lows. And I always tell myself, we endured the housing crash of 2008. We can make it. We made it through COVID. We can make it.
We made it, honey, back in the day, we made it through September 11th.
I mean,
we didn't have much in the market then.
That's three major time frames that we have endured and we made it through, and we're still on track.
Yep.
And so I just encourage people that you'll be on track, but you can't just put your head in the sand and ignore what's going on around you. So what would you say is your make it worth it?
Figure out how to pay the house off. That's it. Like if you're not thinking about how to pay your house off, then you're not thinking about all of the right things. So
there it is.
That's it. I mean, I think you will thank yourself later for prioritizing that in this phase of life.
Well, if you had a mic, you would drop it.
Hey, boom.
Well, you have a mic, but you really can't.
I can't drop it.
Can't really drop it.
I'm not dropping this mic, but I dropped the mic.
Yeah. Do a virtual mic drop. Boom.
That's right. That's right. But until next time,
we're out. Thank you for spending some of your time with us today.
We appreciate all of your support. So be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen to this podcast.
You can find us on Instagram at For Better and Worth.
And sign up to receive our free guide, The 7 Reasons Your Money Relationship Isn't Working with Your Partner, on ForBetterandWorth.com.
Until next time, we're out of here.